I don't know what you hear coming out of your radio when you hear me saying this stuff, if you're still on the other side of the argument. I genuinely don't know what you hear. I know that some of you are reading utter rubbish on Facebook about the Lisbon Treaty and either pretending to believe it or believing it. I don't know how to tell the difference anymore. But I don't know what you hear when you hear your heroes citing their visions of the future, and then you hear truth-tellers like me and Sue in Orpington telling you what that future under their own analysis will be. Like Sue said, the government's impact assessments, the government's own impact assessments. So you end up having to dig ever deeper into delusion and deceit. You end up having to pretend that Theresa May has somehow deliberately tried to sabotage everything. You end up pretending that the MPs could have somehow voted for the Brexit you wanted. They couldn't have done, as was proved, I think, beyond any reasonable doubt when Boris Johnson and Michael Gove walked into different lobbies on the withdrawal agreement vote. It was impossible for Parliament to deliver the Brexit that everybody voted for because everybody voted for a different Brexit. So when journalists and commentators and pundits and punters that I like and admire and respect tell me that we have to respect the vote, I say, which vote? And they say, the Brexit vote. And I say, but which Brexit vote? The Brexit vote when Nigel Farage told us we could be like Norway or Switzerland? Or the Brexit vote when Lord Digby Jones told us that the German car industry would absolutely not countenance, and remember his words, I know I'm right, absolutely not countenance the tariffs that will be brought in the event of a blind Brexit. The Brexit vote that David Davis was predicting when he said that the morning after the referendum he'd be in Berlin, not Brussels, doing deals that would actually have been against the rules, the law of sorts. Which Brexit vote do I have to respect? And eventually you say, that one. And I say, which one? And you say, I don't have to say any more. It's that one. Why do we have to do Brexit? Because we voted for it. Why did we vote for it? Because we want it. Why did we want it? Because we voted for it. Why did we vote for it? Because we want it. Why did we want it? Because we voted for it. And what these men have done, they have reduced us to an infantile state. They have reduced us to children being told that they can't go to the swimming pool or have potato waffles for tea or play 3 hours a fortnight, and when somebody turns around and says why, these men say, because I say so. And if you, like me, was a child, if you were a child who wanted explanations, who sought understanding, then you will share my frustration. But if you are the kind of person who likes being told what to do by posh people without asking questions, if you are the kind of person that leans towards a little light forelock tugging and cap doffing, if you are the kind of person that thinks if somebody went to Eton then they must be more intelligent or more insightful than you, even if that person, like Boris Johnson, lied on Twitter yesterday about having cast a vote in a public ballot, 30 seconds it took him to realise that he couldn't possibly have voted in the local elections like he said he had, because there weren't any where he lives. And still you think that by dint of some ludicrous privilege, inherited wealth and inherited advantage, the likes of him and his cronies are more trustworthy than your own eyes and ears, your own instincts and your own intelligence. I can't help you anymore. I can't help you anymore. You can look at that Breaking Point poster, unveiled hours before a man reached his own, a white supremacist terrorist reached his own breaking point and decided to kill an elected British parliamentarian. If you can look at the people responsible for that poster, and I mean the one that was unveiled during the referendum, not the ones from the Nazi era that inspired it. The pictures are clear to see. The imagery is identical. You can look at that and think, yeah, they're all right. They deserve my vote. Oh, again, I can't help you anymore. But I thought Jeremy Corbyn might have done. Because he, of course, has power. He has the leadership of Her Majesty's opposition. He has been sitting on the other side of the House of Commons, while Theresa May has been presiding over utterly avoidable disarray. And it's that word avoidable that has shifted for me today, thanks to Sue in Orpington. Because as each chapter of corruption and deceit and misunderstanding and mistake got written post-referendum, Theresa May closed her eyes and put her fingers in her ears and pretended that nothing had changed. When every single step of this was predictable, foreseeable, and inevitable. July 2016, on Twitter, I wrote, Nigel Farage will be back. Not as quickly as last time, but he needs to distance himself from the reality of Brexit before he can come back bleating about betrayal. So either I am possessed of clairvoyant powers, either I am some sort of all-seeing prophet with a weapons-grade crystal ball, or every single syllable of this whole sorry saga was predictable, discernible, and inevitable. Unless a proper politician, a politician who had succeeded in getting elected to Westminster, a politician who led a party of many different types and many different colours, unless a prime minister or a leader of the opposition stood up and reported reality, then things could have changed. And Theresa May chose to put her fingers in her ears and to cover her eyes and to ignore Cambridge Analytica, to ignore Vote Leave's cheating, to ignore the Electoral Commission's findings, to ignore the mystery of where the 8 million quid for Leave EU came from, to ignore the fact that people's Facebook pages were full of lies on an unprecedented and still almost unbelievable scale. She chose to ignore all that. And that's why yesterday the two-party system came close to breaking point, because neither Jeremy Corbyn nor Theresa May report reality. And that's what happens when you let liars and chancers and racists to poison the public discourse for clicks and ratings and controversies on Question Time.